Testing, testing. 1, 2, 3. Is the mic close enough for y'all to hear me?
Sit back, relax, and come tune in because me and J.Levon about to go in.
You're tuned into the first golden episode of Under the Twin XL for 2024. Okay?
2024 is all the way up. You already know.
Okay. This is where we give our popular and unpopular opinions about love, life, and HBCU culture.
We're all about keeping it real, chill, and talking a big deal. You're now stuffed so far underneath this bed. So much stuff underneath the bed you can't even move.
You can barely breathe.
You can't even go nowhere.
The only thing you can do is listen.
You already know. This is Under the Twin XL on WANM 90.5 The Flavor.
I'm J.Levon.
And I'm Ash, y'all.
And we're back for a new year of talking ish behind a mic.
Love it.
Like, come on.
Love it. This probably is my favorite hobby, man. I can't get sweeter than this.
I'm not gonna lie, I missed it so much.
Me too.
Like,
I took a break from my radio shows when we first came back to campus. I didn't do the first two. And I literally was sitting there thinking, like, I really can't go without it. Like, I genuinely enjoy being on the radio, and I enjoy talking on this podcast of mine. Like, when I say this is a career of mine, this gonna go far, man. I'm counting it out.
No, literally. Can we take like a little break so I can talk? I was doing mine because I started mine before you, and a caller called into like the radio station while I was on air, and he asked about a song originally, but then he said like, I love your show. When I hear you're on the radio, like I switch over. I make sure I listen to you. You're so intelligent. He was like, I love that all your opinions are based in facts. And like, you know, you obviously are very wise and just like keep doing whatever you're doing. And he was like an older man. His name is like James Bennett. Shout out to you, Mr. James, Big J. But yeah, like that was so like fulfilling because like, I'm not going to say I don't appreciate when people I know, you know, pour into me, but for a stranger who has no idea what I even look like to tell me like you're doing good, like this fits you, I love that.
Me too. It genuinely makes my world go around. But I will say real quick, one time somebody did call me and request a song, and I was so flattered because somebody was actually listening, but I got flustered, so I forgot to ask his name or like to put him on the show. I really got to figure out how to do call-ins because I know that's a big part of radio and I want to incorporate that, but baby, that phone started ringing and I literally was about to go on mic break, so I was literally scrambling to keep the time. I was scrambling to keep the time. I'm trying to answer this man's phone call, and he requested a song, and I had looked it up and I think I spelled it wrong, and I was like, we don't have it. He said, you sure? I ask for it all the time. And I said, oh, my bad, I'm sorry.
Yeah, like when that man called, I almost didn't answer.
I'd be so flustered.
I was too scared.
Flabbergasted.
But like, it rang for a couple times.
I'd be looking at the phone like
looking at the flash. Doop 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 doop.
No, literally.
But I finally answered it because I was like, okay, I can answer it now. Okay. Whew. I'm glad I did though. Like that was one of those moments like that get put in your life for a reason.
Yeah, you better. Love radio. Anyway, how you feeling today?
I'm feeling. I just laughed because over the summer when anybody would ask you like how you feeling, because I was teaching kids, you have to say fantastic, terrific, and it's so goofy. And I just like, I'm sorry, I just had to explain why I laughed. But I'm doing good. This semester has started out pretty positive for me. I've been living in my old person bag. I've been chilling. I've been resting, relaxing. I haven't really been, young and turned like I usually am. So I'm like getting my life together. Classes are going good. Everything's good.
Yeah, I say same with me. I immediately have a different outlook on this semester. Last semester had me around her finger whipped, baby.
Ooh, baby.
But
Ooh,
I
baby.
made it through. I passed all my finals, which I'm extremely proud of myself for, locking in and actually studying for those. And Christmas break, I really did nothing. I really sat in the house. I was on hibernation mode. I really didn't hang out with no friends. I lost a friend, child.
Ooh.
She didn't die, but we just not friends anymore.
Oh my God.
I also say, like, every time I come home, I always lose one person, and my number of friends back home is probably at 4 grand total.
Wow.
And I mean, I don't say I had a big friend group before I came back down here, but it's just been a whole lot about me moving to Florida that like people just don't like, which is crazy because we're supposed to be friends and support each other. Anyway.
Child.
Moving on. So, what's your song of the day?
My song of the day is "Moment of Your Life" by Brent Faiyaz and Coco Jones.
Okay.
That song is such a like. When you hear the first 5 seconds, if you like love R&B, you're gonna move.
Yeah, that album was really good. Brent dropped that album. What was it called? Let me make sure I'm right. That album, Larger Than Life album, he dropped that like randomly to me. And it was a really good album. I say it was pretty solid. My song of the day, I'm gonna go with Needle by Nicki Minaj and Drake. It's like this cute Caribbean feel.
Is this off her new thing?
It is off her new album. I think it's the deluxe, Pink Friday 2. But I'm not really a barb. I said this last night on my radio show because I played some Nicki. But I gotta give credit when credit's due. She definitely has a dope category. And when I heard this song the other night on TikTok, I was like, yeah, this is exactly the vibe I was looking for. I love a good Drake and Nicki Minaj moment. So yeah, that is the song of the day. Needle definitely have me feeling like I want to go on vacation. Haven't been on vacation in God knows how long, but yeah, it gives me that tropical out the island vibe.
Wow, I don't be in my Nicki bag, so I haven't listened to the album yet.
Yeah,
but
me
I've
either.
heard nothing but good things.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie. So maybe I should buckle down and give Miss Onika a good listen.
Onika Tanya.
Onika Tanya.
Well, my thing is, when it first came out, I did sit down and I listened to like maybe a quarter of the album, like straight through, and it just proved that I'm not a barb, right? Because don't get me wrong, it's good, but I just don't listen to Nicki Minaj like that, so I just don't know if it necessarily was fully for me. Of course, you have the songs that went viral on TikTok and everything. But I just don't think those songs are for me. I'm just not.
Wait, you don't bop with high heels on my tip-piece. I'm sorry, that song is that's a bop. I'm sorry, I'm mad.
No.
Wow, that's a good song. At the club, at the club. Hey,
yeah.
hey.
Well, the thing is with that song, not Nicki Minaj, Lotto dropped a song with Glorilla.
Oh, I love that song too.
And she dropped that a couple months ago. So then I was like, Nicki coming out with this song and overshadowing the Lotto song. I was just kind of like,
well, I mean, we all know Nicki is petty like that. She's a Sagittarius. I'm a Sagittarius. I would know.
Sag.
So
Yeah.
she's petty like that. We're not gonna get into that because y'all gonna hate me if I give my opinion on Onika Tanya. But I will say I like both songs. I love both songs.
Okay, yeah, but I feel like the world forgot that Lotto dropped hers and immediately was like, Nicki is the GOAT.
Well, the world didn't really know she dropped hers.
Well, I don't really like the other song, but
You don't like Lotto's song?
No. But that's not the point. The fact is they both dropped the same song, same name, blah 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 blah. They beefing with each other for like.
But they low-key have different vibes. Like the songs have different vibes.
I agree.
So if Lotto's was really like gonna eat, it would have ate already. Because they have different vibes. So I'm not.
I don't think
mad at
Lotto's
Nicki.
song was the hottest. I mean, I'm not mad at Nicki either. I just, like I said, listen to the part of the album, and I really reassured myself that I'm just not a barb, and that's okay. And that's okay, y'all. Look, and that's literally
I'm
okay.
not a
But I'm gonna give
barb
credit where credit is due. She's a fire rapper, but I'm just not a barb.
I'm not a barb, and it's not because of her music.
It's because that attitude. Okay.
Anyway,
it's because that attitude.
Saved by the Bell, because I hear a knock, knock, knock at the door.
It's because that attitude.
And you're going to say it again.
I think it's funny. Yeah, it's because the way you act. Okay.
Ooh.
Oh my God. Yes.
He was just standing at the door.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Looking crazy.
Go ahead and come in. I haven't seen you since last year.
Literally, 2023. You got a whole new hairdo. What is...
He got
straight backs. Uh-oh.
Oh, I was about to say a drop fade, but I really don't know nothing about haircuts. I don't know if drop fade is real.
I never heard of that, but maybe I'm just
Temp
not
fade?
well versed. Temp fade is something.
Okay, I know that. Anyway, let's open up this letter.
Okay.
Oh, okay. So it's the outside world asking us what are some New Year resolutions we have. We're sitting in 2024. How we feeling? How are we moving forward with this year? Is it a year of purpose? A year of building?
Well, one, I will say, like, I'm not a resolutions type of person anymore
Oh.
because I never stick to it. And
Okay.
it upsets me because I never stick to it. So I don't say, like, oh, this is my resolution I'm just going to be so different this year, yada, 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 yada. But what I will say is I have some goals that I set for myself for this year. And I feel like that's different. A resolution is more like, this is something that I'm implementing to make it sound good. But I feel like a goal is just a life goal. Like, and I feel like just the wordage will make me go harder, if that makes sense.
Oh, the word of goals instead of resolution?
Yeah.
Okay.
I feel like that's different. So this year, I don't know what the name for this year is. Like, year of purpose, year of whatever. But it's definitely a year that I'm going to make a great year for myself.
You better.
I'm not going to let it be great, let it be bad, but I'm going to make it great. Like, I'm going to do whatever I need to do to make sure that I take my life to the next level once again. Like, yeah.
I love that. I think for me, last year, 2023, I actually didn't set any goals. I didn't journal at all that night. I didn't do anything. And I truly believe that I didn't even do a vision board or anything. I feel like my 2023 reflected that strictly, like me not being prepared for what I wanted to better myself. I feel like 2023 gave me exactly what I gave it originally. No attention, no intentions, and
you better speak.
No intentions and no attention. So she basically gave me literally what I gave her. So this year I made it my goal to write down some things that I really want to start pursuing this year. Really develop my brand, really lock in on the radio stuff. Like I said, this is genuinely what I want to do. But I mean, to really be one of the greats, I need to submerge myself in this culture and learn how to develop my show more, my brand, the podcast, get into DJing. And I'm talking about the real turntable DJing. Like, that is one of my goals. Yeah, and I know I just said all of that on the mic, but another big thing is moving in silence. I did just say all this on the mic, crazy. But the bigger things...
We all know what you're finna do, so how do you silence that?
That was just a little bit of the... I can say that because that's the more public side of me anyway.
Speak. Talk about
because I'm changing publicly, but you don't know the changes that I'm willing, that I'm making privately. And I think that's a little bit more when it comes to the moving in silence, just to better myself.
You're preaching. Amen.
Just to better myself. So yes, I did let the world know what I'm doing publicly because the world is going to see that shift. But innerly, I do have a lot of things that I have been implementing in my life that have already benefited me, I'll say.
I will say same. I will say, like, I agree with moving different professionally. I'm going to do a lot more things with intention. Like I said, taking myself to that next level is in front of and behind the scenes. So that means I'm building my portfolio, doing things like that, because I need a life outside of FAMU.
Correct.
And
we don't stay here forever.
We don't stay here forever. So with me knowing that and me knowing that I like nice things, I need to really work my behind off with what I love.
And get there, right.
And also, like, behind the scenes, Jared went through a lot in 2023. Especially last semester, and I was not equipped to handle what life threw at me. So
that's so
this
real,
year, I'm going to make sure that I prepare myself mentally for whatever life throws at me, because I can't crack under pressure. I'm not in a position to pack my stuff up and go home when stuff get hard. So with me knowing that, I have to keep going no matter what. And I feel like I did do that last year after I pulled myself up by my straps.
I say I had that moment too. I mean, there was one point first semester I really was on my hands and knees, like really pleading with the universe to give me something, because I felt horrible. My mental state was horrible. I was doing bad in school. My grades were... grades have reflected something that I've never want to go back to, you know? And granted, I was able to pull myself up, but that was hard.
It was so hard. I had to drop a class.
It was hard.
I had to drop... that was never a thing for me. Like, oh, I'm going to drop a class because it's too hard. I told myself I would never do that. Like, oh, that's not going to be me. No, I was failing all of my classes except for one. Yeah. Like, it was really hard for me. And nobody knew other than, like, very close friends. So it wasn't like I was going out looking for hand-me-outs or anything
True.
like that. But I was really going through. And I didn't realize how much I was going through until I got out of it. Really.
Mhm.
It wasn't until I reflected.
You can look back.
When I look back, amen.
When I look back over my life.
When I look back over my life. No, like, and I'm not even being funny. I had to go to God.
Mhm.
Like, I had to go to God about it. Because that was the only way. Y'all wouldn't have seen me no more. I'd be like, oh, like, y'all love to call me a local? I would have been local if I didn't go to God and say, help me. Because I don't know what I'm doing. Yeah, like, it was really bad. So this year, I have to make sure that we never get back to that place. I have to make sure that we ducking and dodging all the obstacles.
Yeah, and I remember right before Christmas break, I was really hesitant to come back to school. Like, I was under my mom. I was, like, under my stepdad. I call him Pops. And I really was, like, moving out the house slow, packing up my bag and my car. And I remember my stepdad was like, you act like you don't want to go. And I said, honestly, last semester was so much. Why am I, like, literally about to tear up? I was like, last semester was so much for me that I am genuinely scared to start again. And he said to me, he said, Ashton, you got to let go of that. You've already gone through last semester. You made it at the top. You passed all your classes. You did everything that you needed to do at the end. It doesn't matter what you went through to get there, but you got there. And remember that's over. You have the opportunity to really regroup and step positively into this next semester. And once he said that, I was just like, you know, you're right. Let me not try to dwell on last semester so much, because I can't change the past. I'm standing right here in the present, and there's nothing I can do about what my grades say last year, or the things I went through last year, the experiences I went through, the hard times, the sadness, because it's over and I'm here and I ended up on top.
Talk about it.
So, yeah, I have a bright, what am I trying to say?
Outlook?
Yeah. I mean, I really am trying to stay positive with this year and my intentions on what I'm really here to do, because ultimately this is my calling, being here right now in this studio talking to you. And I will fulfill that all the way 2024. All my goals, my vision board will be full of checks at the end of 2024, because I will reach all of my goals.
And I know you will, because you don't really do nothing halfway. So
yeah,
I know. But it reminds me of, I brought it up earlier, I was teaching over the summer, and I had a group of middle school girls, and they were really like, every day they would be upset. You know, when you're like in that preteen, early teenage stage,
mad at the
where you're just mad at the world. And I pulled them to the side. I wasn't even their teacher, but I pulled them to the side, and I told them, like, y'all cannot wait for the day to be good. You have to make your day great. When somebody asks you how your day is, you should be able to say it's great because I made it great, not because everything fell into place. So they took that, and after I said that, you know, they don't know me like that, so they took it with a grain of salt. But I can tell, like, they were trying. So if some 13-year-old girls can do that, why can I not? If everything don't fall into place for me, am I just gonna let it fall, or am I gonna put it back together myself? And that's what I have to do,
baby.
And that's what I have to do, which is why I said I'm going to make this year great. I'm not going to be a victim to my circumstance. I'm going to overcome it. The same way that you did, and the same way that your stepdad told you to do, I have to do the same thing.
And I'll say the same thing with me. I really pride myself on teaching others that, like, life is always going life. Like, life actually never stops. You could be having the worst day of your life on Tuesday, on Thursday, you at a party, and you smiling with your homegirls,
and you can't even think about anything that's going wrong.
Right. And life moves however life wants to move. So I always tell people, when things don't go their way, you can't stop. When you don't get something, you can't stop. Even though I know, y'all, this last semester I had went out for something and I wanted it so bad. Ended up not getting it. Definitely thought life was going in. I came home Thanksgiving break, couldn't even control my emotions. I'm crying all in my mama lap. I mean, it was bad. But at the end of the day, I still had to come to school, write these articles. I still had to come to school, do
And
this
do this
radio
work.
show. Like,
These grades ain't gonna stop.
Yeah, so I had to come back and keep going. And I was like, even though I want to stop so bad, you just gotta keep going because I've been saying this lately, and it's so old school. Trouble don't last always.
And
trouble don't last always.
even this semester didn't even start off that good for me either.
Yeah.
This semester started off really bad. Them first 2 weeks, I was like, we can't. So I decided over the weekend, I took a lot of time to myself and just enjoyed my own company. I didn't really do a whole bunch of like self-work. But yesterday, I like rejuvenated my self-care supplies. I had a long spa day with myself basically last night. I said, we're gonna be happy. We're gonna do everything I need to do. I'm going to move with purpose. And I'm gonna make it right. Because I refuse to be a victim to my circumstances. Just because stuff is not going right, just because you have a definite family, just because whatever else that I was going through doesn't mean everything else has to just fall to the wayside.
You can't break my soul. You
Amen.
won't break my soul.
She was prophesying, actually. Y'all want to.
Y'all wasn't hearing her, but
y'all
she
wasn't
said,
hearing her. You won't break my soul.
She said, you won't break my soul, babe.
And then, when all else fails, right before I go to God, because I'm going to go to God last. Because, he's, whatever. But right before I go to God, before I ask what would Jesus do, I ask what would Beyonce do. And would she give up?
No.
Exactly.
No. All right. Well, it sounds like we got 2024 on lock. I'm excited
for us.
Look,
That's
I'm
crazy.
excited for what's next. It's up from here, definitely. I can't go no lower than I was.
Don't say that now. Don't say that. Don't jinx it.
Well,
knock on some
that's
wood.
just me. That's just me being like confident. But yeah. Anyway, all right, Mr. XL Mail Man.
It was great seeing you. You look good for the new year.
Keep up them New Year resolutions yourself, Mr. Mailman.
Get us our stuff on time. Thank you. All year, all 2024.
LOL. Well, let's dive right in, child. Even though that was a good little 15-minute spiel.
That was enough in itself. But we have more for y'all because we never, ever leave you hungry under the Twin XL. You're going to be fed.
You're going to be fed even though you can't move. It's kind of like, oh my God, it's like we're holding them captive.
Are we?
I don't know. That sounds kidnapperish.
But they chose to be here.
They did.
But once you come in that door, you can't leave.
Once you go with that door and you hit that flow.
Once you get under that bed, baby.
Ain't nowhere else you can be, babe.
Ain't no getting out till we let you out.
LOL.
It's like school.
Literally. Okay, well, so the question here today is, coming into college, we meet different people from different backgrounds, different states,
different cities, different
ways of living,
different, tax brackets.
Heavy on the
different tax brackets. Like,
yeah, that's heavy on that.
Different cultures.
Yeah.
Just because we all black don't mean we all have the same culture.
Yeah, just because we all black don't mean we the same type of black.
Oh?
Because there's different. Okay.
All right. We are not a monolith. Okay?
What's that mean?
Monolith means we are not all one. Like,
you better with the vocab.
We're not the same. Yeah. I learned that off social media. Never say social media ain't teaching nothing. Black people are not a monolith.
I agree. That's a good word. Okay, so since we're in college and we see all these different people, when was the first time did you really notice that we were not all the same?
Orientation. Orientation, baby. Orientation.
Yeah.
My first ever experience on campus showed me that we're not all the same. Okay?
Orientation.
A little bit before orientation in them orientation group chats. If you want to be real. But I really got to see it at orientation.
Group chats before orientation. Who comes up with that concept?
I don't know, but I'm so glad I participated. It was such like
it did help prepare me.
It helped prepare you. I think we talked about it before. Like, it really brings you in.
Yeah.
But with that, like, it shows you how different people even come into new situations. Because none of us knew each other really. Some people might have, but most of us were coming into new situations and everybody came into it differently. Some people, like me, are very talkative. I want to get to the punch first. Some people take a step back and they observe. And some people just don't say nothing. Some people ride the wave until they can't ride it no more. Everybody's different.
Yeah.
And then that goes back into our topic because that informs like where you come from and how you are. And especially, I didn't stay on campus my freshman year, but I had a lot of friends that did, and I was always on campus. So just seeing like the whole roommate situation of it all, I know y'all heard about them freshman year horror stories.
Yeah. Luckily, shout out to my lovely, well, I have roommates, but my freshman roommate, I still stay with her, Zaria. We love her. We love her. We definitely have a glamorous story compared to others. Like the people around us were literally falling apart when it came to the roommates. I think when it happens with the roommates, when you have two different people from two different backgrounds, it comes down to the cleanliness. You better say it again. Cleanliness. It comes back to basic respect. What you do and do not tolerate on how people talk to you, and really just the basic needs of a shared space.
Even boundaries.
Yeah. And I feel like people really couldn't figure that out, what matched and what didn't. And ultimately, that's why these roommate situations fell apart. Also, I saw like last year people were saying, it's crazy. We go from like not sharing anything to now we in this room with this stranger. And I agree.
I was just going to say that. Like literally that's what I was thinking about because I don't personally, but I know a lot of people who did come here are only kids. So they didn't even grow up sharing a room with anybody.
Right.
So then you get to this point where in your mind, you're very grown. And then you have to share a room with somebody like y'all both 8 years old now. No, it doesn't work.
So we're both 8, literally.
So like when it comes to, I need to ask someone permission about doing certain things in our shared space. We need to set up, a standard for cleanliness in our state. We need to, is mine just mine? Can we share this thing? Do I need to get my own of this or can we share it? Who's going to buy this? Who's going to buy that? Or when are we going to do this? When is that? Is there a cutoff for, guests in the room?
Well, I say
everything like that. Like
if
people aren't used to
really communicating, the communication. But you can't fault people for not knowing how to communicate that because like you said, we never grew up. Well, I'm going to say, I'm not sure because people do have siblings, but
and even then though with the siblings, you still have a parent to go to.
True.
When you can't agree, you go to the parent. You still don't have that here. So even if and that's not your sibling. So I don't got love for you like I got love for my little brother.
Yeah, like the level of communication, you can't be mad at somebody for not knowing it because you never really had to adult like this so fast. I feel like good communication is a very adult thing, a very mature thing. And you're taking us out of high school, you're putting us into this college setting, and you basically say, okay, now you're an adult and communicate now. But it's hard to develop those skills, I say, to do it effectively.
If you weren't taught those skills. I think that my experiences in life have allowed me to kind of be very confident in expressing my emotions and expressing how I feel. So there's never going to be a point in time where, well, I won't say never, but very seldom are there points in time where I don't feel like I can say what I need to say. And most time I try to make it as respectful as possible. So I think it's all about the tools you were given up until this point.
I agree because I think with me, I wasn't really taught how to communicate effectively. My mom did all the thinking for me, nor did my opinion matter. So the communication on my side, I had to pick up through, where did I learn to communicate? Really my roommate, Zaria, taught me how to communicate effectively as an adult and like not run off and cry once you express your true feelings. Because I always thought of like, communication as a negative thing if it doesn't go
like an argument,
right? If it doesn't go the right way, now we don't like each other, now we not friends, now we beefing. I used to think of it just like that.
But you know what my problem was? My problem was I was always ready for the argument. So I had similar feelings about communication, but I was just ready if it got to that point, if that makes sense. So I can express my emotions because either way, like we can argue. Like I don't have a problem standing on what I said. So I think that's the only difference. But being in college did teach me, like, communicating and expressing yourself doesn't mean going back and forth. That's something that I had to learn because of the way that I grew up. Was very argumentative, basically. I had to bolster my opinion for it to be respected. I couldn't be quiet and timid all the time. You got to speak up, and you got to say it with your full chest. So that's kind of how I grew up. Like, if you say something, you got to be ready for the other person to say something, because da 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 da.
Yeah.
So everybody wasn't raised like that.
Okay, well, do you think when somebody gets to the college setting and somebody calls them out on some of the traits that they've learned, whether that's like not knowing how to clean or, like I said, learning how to talk to someone, do you think when somebody else calls them out, they should change? Or do you think, is it okay to stay
Stagnant?
Oh, stagnant. I was trying to say stick to your roots. Lord.
Stick to your roots. I will say
stick to them roots.
That I'm very solution oriented myself. So if something doesn't work for me, I change it. It may not be what you would think I would change, but I'm going to change something, even if it means removing myself. So if something isn't working, I'm not going to keep letting it not work. And that's me personally. So if something isn't working for you in this new setting, maybe you should change it. Maybe you should adjust it.
Look, I'm looking over here like...
I'm just like, let's not be ignorant. That's a sign of ignorance.
But what if
to
they...
me.
I get it, but
okay,
because
your mama taught you that we only clean up on Sunday, and now it's Wednesday and the room is filthy. You gonna wait till Sunday to let it get more filthy? No, you're gonna clean. Like it's just like that. Like, how much can we rely on? This is how I was brought up. You're not being brought up anymore. So what's going on? It happened to me. I had needed to be checked. I'm still getting checked to this day. Like. And I have to address it. Like, I can't be like, okay, this is how it was in high school.
That's true. You have to
evolve.
You have to be willing to evolve.
When everybody says college is not just about the education, it's about the experience. This is what they're talking about.
This is what they're talking about. Learning how to be better.
You have to be able to adapt to different environments. You're not always going to be in your mama house. Sometimes you're going to be in that job. And you're going to have to adjust for your check. I hate to say it.
Yeah. Even if you only... real pretty for the check, babe.
Even if you're only adjusting from the hours of 9 to 5, you can go back to however you acting afterwards when you off that clock. But when you're on that clock, you're going to have to adjust and adapt. Same thing in school. While you in this dorm with Sean Keisha...
Who don't play that?
You're going to have to adjust. If she says, baby, when it gets dirty, we cleaning, and you don't want to clean... You can't be mad at her because she got an attitude with you. She don't want to live in filth.
Oh, child. But
also, Sean Keisha got to change the way she's talking to you. So it's not even just
it's a give or take on
it's a compromise
sides.
On all sides. So it's not even just like you're wrong, so you got to change. No, this is not working. So what can we do
to
coagulate?
Yeah.
Like, how can we come together and be peaceful? And everybody doesn't understand that because they weren't raised like that. They were raised, I'm going to do what I'm going to do, and you have to adjust.
Well, that's why I think it's good that you get into a bowl of different, like a good mixture of people. But you can learn stuff from so many different people and not even notice that you're picking up, good habits or bad habits. Not saying all the time that you're picking up good ones from others. But yeah, and that's how you really can base your life off of being willing to change, because sometimes you don't even notice that you're picking up small things from people. And I think another big difference for me is knowing when somebody's from the South and somebody's from the North, because the South, she gonna say some baby sweetheart please, thank you. In the North, I feel like the North just gonna do whatever the North want to do.
Baby, they are so cutthroat.
They do not play up there.
But also South Florida. It wasn't until I got to college that I didn't realize how bad it is in South Florida. Everybody has an attitude.
Yeah,
everybody
different cultures within Florida. Yeah,
even in the state that I live in, people from down south have like such a bad attitude. I was talking about this with my godmom over the break because I went down south over the break, and she moved down there for where I'm from, and we were having this conversation, and she said like they're so rude and cliquish. And I said, you know, I would have thought the same thing if I didn't come to school first and really get to know people from down there. It's not that they're cliquish and don't want you to be a part, but they're very accustomed to familiarity. So they cling to what they're used to. So when they come up here, they calling us all type of country bumpkins, and they only want to talk to people who from down south so they can talk mess about Tally or whatever. And it was very hard for me to like understand that these people aren't just rude. Now what they're doing is rude, and you know that's a conversation that we've had over and over again, but that doesn't mean that they're bad people. And that's the other thing.
305 So Live, Miami-Dade.
But yeah, so you also have to understand that like some people don't know that the way they're raised can come off rude or come off crazy to someone else. So once it's brought to your attention, what are you going to do? Are you going to continue to keep doing these things that have people with paws on you? Or, you know, are you going to try and accommodate and, you know, try to adapt for your new setting? Because when you go into that job interview in the middle of Georgia, everybody want to go to Atlanta. Well, Atlanta, they have Southern hospitality.
Barely. Please.
Well,
please, no.
Well, bad example.
They actually don't.
Bad example.
It's like Southern hospitality, like exclusively.
But you get
Atlanta,
what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Everywhere isn't gonna be where you came from. So are you gonna adapt, or are you just gonna stay where you always been?
That's the question, guys.
Because when you're going for this job interview, you can't act like you don't care and you don't want to be there. Bye. You're not getting my job. But that's the way you was always raised, is to go into any room like, okay.
Okay.
What you gonna do when you go into this business and you have to ask for a job and you have to show that you want to be there? What you gonna do?
Boom. What you gonna do? Boom.
So this college experience is really just gearing you up for the real world.
Oh, definitely is. I'm 100% agree that college really teaches you what. I'm not going to say really teaches you, but it prepares you for sure. Because the real world is going to be even crazier than this. Because now when we get in the real world, now we mixing with white folks. And that's another conversation, because that's going to be wild. Look, that's going to be wild, because I've been in this black bubble for 4 years. And now I'm going out in the real world. And my boss is black. I mean, my boss is white. And now I can't play nothing on the radio. Let's talk. Let's talk about
that. Would be so sick. That would be so sick.
But I actually did learn. I went to the like panel thing. This guy told me like commercial radio, most times they give you the playlist of what you can play. You don't even have choice. Like, you know how we choose what we want to play? In real commercial radio, they have like a list because it's by like popularity.
Well, you know, I kind of figured that.
Yeah, I was kind of shocked. I thought I was just gonna be bumping the radio. Like, I literally thought I was gonna be on aux 24/7. Like,
yeah, no, I kind of figured that. Here we basically have like every show is a specialty show, basically.
Literally do whatever I want.
So when we get into our real career field, they're like, you gonna play this song because it's #1 on Billboard. And
yeah, but it makes sense because you want your show to be trending, and you want good
it's about
numbers.
money,
right?
So
I get it. I don't make the rules. I just follow them, gang.
But yeah, like I just implore everyone to go and really think about the things that you learned from other people while you've been in your college setting, or any setting where you've been out of your comfort zone, away from people who are just like you, and just think about, okay, how do these people act, and does it make sense for where they're from, and how do my actions read to them, and how do their actions read to me, and do they have good habits that I want to pick up? Do they have good habits bad habits that I want to stay away from? Anything like that. Like, these are the questions that you should ask yourself, because they play a huge part in self-growth.
I love that.
The last question is, do you want to grow?
Dun dun dun.
Oh, okay.
I'm always up for a good growth moment. And I feel like other people should be as well. But what I did learn is, since people aren't raised the same, sometimes they actually don't care about growth. So But we all are at different points in our life also.
I just caught what you said.
I'm about to say, the delayed laugh. I'm like, what?
I'm sorry, I just caught what you said. Not some people are not ready for growth.
Yeah, but hey, different topic for a different day. Y'all already know this was Under the Twin XL, first episode of the year. We love y'all.
Yes. But, you know, I'm so glad to be back. I'm so excited for us to really, like, get into it. Like, I'm happy that we're back. We talked about some great things today. Like,
I agree. This was a little bit of a longer episode, but I feel like every episode, if y'all would actually just really listen, we be dropping some gems.
We drop gems. Like,
if y'all actually listen. Oh, sorry.
That was like, I heard reverberation of that. That was, she felt that with her whole chest,
I feel
y'all.
like that went through all of J school. Like, that
no,
actually
literally,
went
they
through
was
me.
like,
Yeah, that was loud. But if y'all would just listen, we be dropping some gems, y'all. We can help y'all out now. I don't know now.
You know, I don't want to say do what we say, but take it into consideration.
I mean, it wouldn't hurt.
It wouldn't hurt just to listen because we do have like a little bit of something to say. Like,
just a little.
We is a little smart, child.
I'm a little wise. I got 4 wisdom teeth growing in, so
and I got gray hairs.
Look, I kind of know what I'm talking about.
I have gray hairs, and I've been had them, so y'all should have been listening to me. So
yeah. Anyway, you know,
this has been Under the Twin XL with J.Levon
and Ash.
We love you.
See y'all next time. Under the Twin XL is produced in the studios of WANM-FM 90.5 in the School of Journalism and Graphic Communication at Florida A&M University.